without any further delay, please help me welcome the amazing Rick Buchanan.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
I tell you, as he pins me up here.
Pinning the corsage.
Yeah, thank you.
Just,
is that okay?
Not under the shirt.
Yeah. It's, don't want my chest hair to rub against it or anything like that. Well, that's my speech. So, any questions? I really gave Barry a whole bunch of information, figuring he, being the expert that he was at editing, would just slice it and dice it and come up with a nice little 30-second intro, and that would be the deal. But it's okay. It works quite well.
You're too good at it.
This is, with an intro, I needed an intro after all, you know, every, what is it, 20 years that we have these things, or 10 years? You know, I needed to have something that would be there. I used to work for a company called PNM, and it had about, at that time, 3,000 or 4,000 people working for it, substantially less in the last 6.5 months, I can tell you. And I'm one of those who got cut off back in November. However, I enjoyed my tenure at PNM because it gave me the opportunity to participate in a very large corporate environment. And one of the things that they asked me to do was to present a seminar on generational differences. Those of you who have been with large corporations have already heard this about 900 times. And I'm going to take that 2.5-hour seminar and cut it down to about 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 minutes, which ought to be interesting. Don't you agree? Here at Club 122, we have a huge number of people who are past members, who have a tremendous amount of personal experience and history and ability that they can bring back into Club 122, Albuquerque Toastmasters, if we can lure you back in. Because we have a new generation of folks coming into Toastmasters, and if we don't have the old guard around to help guide those newcomers, how are we going to progress? So, let's talk about generational differences here for a second. We have, what, about 40 people here tonight? Pretty close? June?
48.
48. I knew she'd have the exact number. Yes, 48 folks. So, out of 48 folks, all you have, you don't have to get up. I know how difficult it is for some of you. But please, yeah, for some of you, us, myself included. Who was born between the ages of 1925 and 1942? Raise your hand. 1925 and 1942. Look at that. Well, you are what we call traditionalists. Anybody born before 1925 here? Raise your hand. You are amazing is what you are. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what we call you in this kind of thing, but we call you old. We call you amazing elders is what we called you. Now, anybody born between 1943 and 1960, raise your hands. That's me. Okay. You are all what we call boomers, baby boomers, the most powerful single generation ever born in the United States. Think about that. Now, is there anybody here born between 1961 and 1981? If so, raise your hands. 1961, 1981. Well, welcome Generation X. That's exciting. You are 26 to 47 years old. You're shaping this world of ours, and you have turned the traditionalists and the boomers on their heads. You are exciting business people. You move where the action is, and then you come back. Gen Y. Anybody here younger than 27 years old? Besides Dick Arms, of course. And it's all in the heart. Well, I'm here to tell you that we have at Club 122, people who were not able to make it tonight, they probably had something really important to do, like bowling or something, who are 18 to 27 years old. They call them Gen Y. They're the electronic generation. They move fast, they think fast, they can multitask, they can be talking to you and texting to somebody else at the same time, and they want you to react exactly the same way. They don't have time for this politeness stuff. Huh? It's a generalization. Now, we were talking about generalizations here before we got started with this group, and anything that I'm talking about here in terms of generations, generational differences, is strictly that. It has to do with statistics, and there are exceptions to everything that you're going to ever hear about generational differences. Some of those exceptions are sitting here in these rooms. Some of them will be coming into Toastmasters. Traditionalists, well, you focus, you have a respect for rules, you tend not to question your authority, you believe dedication and hard work will pay off. If I'm wrong, raise your hand. Ah. Most of the people that are traditionalists, that are the elders in our society, stay with one or two employers in their entire careers. Some bounce back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But most traditionalists and many boomers were able to stay in one place for many, many years as employers. Right? Most traditionalists stay with one organization for many, many years. And they are the foundation of Toastmasters 122, right? Most of the people in this room. Boomers, they pretty much carry the same lifestyle and values of the traditionalists. They brought it forward. Hard work, work is a priority. Boomers are a bit more optimistic. They didn't have to go through, the Depression and World War II. And boomers are more interested in personal fulfillment. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to work hard, because boomers like to work hard. They're competitive. They like to go for it, nose to the grindstone. But they also want to be able to hike in the mountains, and they want to be able to bike, and they want to have, go to the gym and continue to look good into their 50s and 60s. I hope to get there one of these days.